His name is Mr. Ellis. To most people, he looked like a man who had failed. He used to wear a tie, carry a leather briefcase, and drive a rust-red pickup to school every morning. For 22 years he taught middle school math. Room 14, with the squeaky chalkboard and the broken clock that never got fixed. Then the school closed. Budget cuts, they said. Downsizing. He was 58. No savings, no family nearby, and no job. The mortgage payments fell behind. The truck was repossessed. And then came the eviction notice, yellow and cold and final. He packed 2 suitcases and a backpack. He kept the framed photo of his wife, who'd passed 7 years earlier, and one old algebra textbook he couldn't bring himself to leave behind. By winter he was living in the park. He slept on a bench behind the playground and showered at the local YMCA when he could. He learned which shelters had soup on Tuesdays, which churches gave out socks on Thursdays. People walked past him like he wasn't there. But he never begged, never held a sign. He had lost so much, but not his pride, and not his purpose. Because even on those bitter cold mornings, wrapped in a threadbare coat, Mr. Ellis was still a teacher. And teachers don't stop teaching. It started with a notebook. One morning Mr. Ellis saw 2 boys sitting under a tree with schoolbooks open but no clue what they were doing. Their mom worked 2 jobs and couldn't help. Their internet had been shut off weeks ago. And school was online now if you could afford a screen. He watched them for a while, then walked over. "Want some help with that?" he asked gently. They looked up, unsure. But something about his voice felt like safety. Within 10 minutes, Mr. Ellis was back in his element. Kneeling in the grass, using sticks to explain fractions, drawing triangles in the dirt, smiling like it was the first warm thing he'd felt in weeks. The next day they brought 2 more friends. By Friday there were 7 kids sitting in a circle. By the next week, parents started bringing folding chairs and snacks. Someone donated a whiteboard. Someone else brought blankets. Mr. Ellis never asked for money. Never advertised. He just showed up. Every morning, 8 a.m. sharp. He taught math, science, and geography. He read them stories and told them about planets and poetry. When one girl said she wanted to be an astronaut, he brought a library book about Mae Jemison. When a boy struggled to write, he patiently traced each letter with him for days. And when he told them stories about failure, not formulas, they listened hardest of all. Because this teacher wasn't standing in front of a blackboard. He was sitting beside them in the dirt under a tree. And somehow it made learning feel real again. The city noticed. The newspapers wrote a short column. Homeless teacher tutors local kids in park. But for the families in that neighborhood, Mr. Ellis wasn't just a news story. He was the best thing that had happened in a long, long time. One chilly morning in early March, Mr. Ellis showed up to the park to find more than just kids waiting. There were adults, volunteers, a woman with coffee, another with books, a retired principal, a man in a suit who introduced himself as just a dad who heard the story. They had a banner and a proposal. They had raised enough money to rent a small classroom in a nearby community center. No red tape, no paperwork, just a room with chairs, a chalkboard, and heat. Mr. Ellis cried quietly, then nodded. The new classroom opened that Monday. They called it the Open Bench, in honor of the one where it all began. He taught there 5 days a week. Parents brought meals. Local high school students volunteered as assistants. He never took a salary. "The kids need it more than I do," he'd say. Someone offered to help him find an apartment. He accepted, but insisted it be walking distance from the classroom. He still kept the bench, though. Still sat there on Sunday mornings with his coffee and a pencil, writing new lesson plans by hand. He told a reporter once, "When I lost everything, I thought I had nothing left to give. But I was wrong. Sometimes the world strips away what you thought you needed, just so you can discover what you really had to offer." Today Mr. Ellis is 61. He's still teaching, still showing up each morning with a smile, a notebook, and more patience than seems possible. And those kids, some are now in high school, Some still stop by on weekends to say thank you. One even wrote an essay about him that won a citywide contest. They call him Mr. Ellis. But to them he's so much more. He's proof that dignity can survive disaster. That even in the hardest seasons, kindness has a place. And that sometimes when life takes everything away, what's left is something unshakable.